Oh, that's right. Actually, one time I was, I think it was, yeah, I was cursing my accreditation for lead. And something that struck me the most is like, depending on statistics, right, that has been like done for the past years, is like the common person just spend 90% of their time indoors, right? And of course, like the dwelling unit is the place where the person just spend time the most, right? So of course, like trying to kind of just do better construction and try to kind of manage ventilations and way how you can filtrate the exterior to the interior. Of course, like that is what is making the difference, right? So no, that is pretty important. And no, I'm with you on that one. So again, like in terms of the association, how can you define the association on your own words?
Okay. So, oh yeah, my own in my own words, how can I describe Passive House Canada? As you all know, there's a big description on our website, and you can read that. It's a nonprofit organization that actually advocates for passive house high performance building standard. But in my own words, I would say we are passionate, driven people that are working to make sure that everybody understands at some point what is a passive house, what is the passive house standard, and why we should be building better buildings. So that would be my definition of Passive House Canada. We're just, we're lovers of this standard, and we just want to make sure that everybody has, the accessibility or the opportunity to at least know a little bit about passive house standards and buildings, and not only houses, right? But as you said, we're always indoor. Now we're actually spending like 90% of our time at home because of COVID, but it's either in our house or in an office or in supermarket or whatever, but we need better buildings for that, and as you know, passive house can be applied in any kind of building, right? It's only a mistranslation of passive house, right? That's come from German, but anyways, that's another topic, though.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, no, totally agree. Like I can remember when I was passing through the courses, I found out like a lot of passionate people, right, trying to kind of, hey, we're doing things different in terms of get better ways of life, right? And yeah, I can tell that a lot of people were talking about different concepts and principles, and they were those principles were pre-attached on themselves. And for sure, yeah, I can agree with that as well, right? So again, like I know that for these tough moments, I know that a lot of industries are struggling with different things. Taking as a consideration COVID, which I think will be on the environment for following years, at least as a topic. So how the actual association and the way how the people are doing certification are struggling the most, or better say, maybe are they getting any benefits about this or struggling? What can you say about it?
Do you mean the our students, or do you mean the industry itself?
The industry itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for I mean, like in Canada itself, as some provinces consider construction as a like a primary work. So most of them did not stop 100%. Of course, they had to take some measures to respect self-distancing and everything. But from in my perspective, for the industry itself, I don't have a lot of information as I'm not a builder here. But for Passive House Canada itself, what I can tell you is due to the commitment that we had in our company and the instructors, we managed actually to train even more people than we did it at the same period of time. I mean, like for education itself, people saw it and understood that was going to be our new reality, and they just jump in. It's and everybody understood that it's necessary. once this COVID situation goes by, we're still going to be facing greenhouse gas emissions. We're going to be facing overheating. We're going to be facing global warming. All of this, it's still there. And this is something that we can do it now, right? As we're staying a little bit more at home, it's just time to just get ready for the next steps. It's just waiting to go back to fight and just in a better position with more knowledge.
Yeah, and touching base on that note as well, I can remember in the past getting in touch with the actual association, and something that it was at that point in time pretty difficult to me is trying to go through the actual courses, because just have time off from the work, drive back and forth, right? And it was a lot of time consuming just for the sake to kind of move to one place to the another place. When I noticed that it was online, it was something pretty good, because it was like, okay, well, all that time that I'm going to just spend driving, I'm being more efficient, right? I know that it was like a struggle with COVID for a lot of stuff, but for this case, found pretty convenient and helped me a lot in order to just make it work, right? So, no, that's that was good on my side anyway. So my next question is about, we know that there are a lot of types of ways in order to prove certification in terms of sustainability, as we can name like LEED certification or net zero type of certification, and we have passive house as well. At some point, going through the different items and know a little bit about all of those, I can just take in my mind that maybe the difference between them, I will say the scale, because if I take LEED, I can think that is like a pretty broad principles in trying to just see the site, and I think the scale is so much bigger rather than, for example, passive house is more focused in the actual building, right? And taking into consideration net zero is like, well, that depends on the amount of energy that you can produce. What is your point of view about those points of difference between them?
I guess, and Carlos, this is something that I keep asking myself all the time, because I have a lot of people ask, what is the difference between passive house, net zero, and LEED? I like to say it's as you already said it. That's, first of all, it's a different approach, right? I guess what would be the best world is to combine all of them at some point. I mean, this is the best of the worlds. It's like combining whatever they have best and put all together. As you said, net zero building, nearly zero energy buildings is, as you said, it's just as much as you produce. If you go to my hometown, most of the houses, they can be net zero building like that. We have a lot of sun. I mean, like we have at least 12 hours of sun per day. Right. So it's from 5 to 5. So you can produce everything. It's like all year round. So you can actually be active in this way. LEED, as you touch base, it's a more of a broader spectrum. So it deals with the impact you're going to be putting in the roads. It deals with vegetation. There's a big another approach, and passive house standard, it's more of a comfortable standard. So it actually focuses on the building and the air quality that you can have in your building. So in my opinion, I would even add a little bit more. I would definitely add embodied carbon to that conversation and construction waste management. If we could make this more of a holistic approach, I guess we would have the best. It's not only about A, B, or C. It's whatever you're going to have in combined for the greater good in the end of the day.
That's right. At the end of the day, at least to have the awareness that is something that you can manage and measure. I think what we're trying to kind of achieve right now is trying to kind of just be better in way of construction. And again, I always consider like, okay, well, everything can work. What is your approach? Let's try to meet it, right? So no, I think your point of view is pretty valid. I have a lot of more questions, but we have constrained in time as well. I think we can just leave this conversation for another day. I think this conversation was more like a salad of different topics. But before we close up this session, I have one question that I always call like the signature question, right? In order to kind of just double check what all the professionals have in mind. And basically all the students and people that they're trying to kind of open their ways to leadership in the future. I have one specific question that I want to kind of test with you, Luis. And this is, what's one thing you wish you had known when you began your career?
Oh man, that's a nice question though. I wish I would know passive house standard before. I mean, if I would actually be able to have some of the understanding before, that would be a lot for me. It would be just great. But as you know, right, experience and knowledge comes with time. So I guess everything actually falls at the when it's supposed to be at some point. But if I would have known about passive house standards before, I guess that would be just great. But maybe I would close up my mind a little bit to other things, because you kind of once you know the high level stuff, it's hard for you to accept what is not high level anymore. I guess it's more of a learning curve. But yeah, definitely passive house. That would be my answer.
Oh, that's good. I know that question is pretty tricky.
Yeah, it is, man. It's tricky.
and when I was looking for that question, like what is like something that make the guests think further, right? Even for me, like trying to kind of just put that in my mind is like, well, this is.
What is your answer, though? If I may ask, what is your answer? What is your answer for that question? Have you thought yourself about that?
No, honestly, I've thought about it, and one, because I'm talking about one specific item, and when you are narrowing down to one specific item, it's like, then one is going to be the most important one.
Yeah.
And thank you for asking me that question, because what I've thought so far, and maybe in the future if somebody else just asks me something else, hopefully it's the same answer. I'm thinking that item or that element will be more curious, right? Because I can remember in my early years, what I was looking at the professionals is like, okay, well, they know everything, so they don't have to ask anything. And now 15 years after, for this like experience that I have in the industry, I will say, oh, man, I would like to kind of just make some more questions in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because you always fight with proud. We always fight to what the people could say, and you always just get with your mouth shut, right? So I will say, okay, be more curious, ask more questions, because that's the basically the core of all this industry, right? Everything is changing so fast that whatever was working 10 years ago is no longer there, right? So and again, I think I was a little bit like I've thought about that question, so maybe that's why I have that answer right in my brain. But no, I know that is a tricky question. It's not easy to answer. But no, I really liked your response as well. Honestly, like if I could known this like 15 years ago, I think just to have the awareness that it exists, you move forward to improvement, right? So I think that's pretty valid, and that's pretty good.
And I actually answer that, Carlos, because as you said, things are moving, right? 10 years back, 10 years now, what we have now, it's completely different. But I mean, like in Brazil, actually, for the construction industry, that's the reason why I just want to explain why I chose passive house on my answer, because the industry in Brazil builds the same way as it used to build like 50, 100 years ago. I mean, like, there's no improvement. The improvement they're making now is making buildings cheaper and selling more expensively. So that's what they do. So if I had known something different, let's say, think out of the box, that would be maybe my better answer would be having some knowledge to help me think out of the box. Because even at university, they're pretty much reproducing stuff. You don't actually you're not being taught to think in a way. Only if you decide to go into the research career, which is not very used to where I'm from. So you're pretty much just absorbing information and trying to apply whatever you are. But the information, it's not being updated as fast as I see the market being updated. I mean, like the universities, at least the one I did it back in the days, of course, it's been like 11 years. I don't know where they are now in this type of position. They were not updating as fast as the market, and they were not updating the students as fast as they should. So that would be maybe the reason why. Because for me, once I got in touch with this kind of a standard, the passive house standard or energy efficient building, it was a big impact for me because it was nothing that I have seen it before. Right. But it felt right for me because it was for improvement. And everything makes sense because it's physics in the end of the day, right? It's not rocket science. It's just building science. So if you have this background, it helps a lot. But if you don't get in touch or at least are exposed to this kind of information, it's not going to happen by itself. I mean, like, I don't have the physicist mind that it just comes out ideas like that. So that's the reason why I did engineering. But yeah.
No, that's totally right. So no, I think that was pretty good. I think this is the wrap. I don't know if I passed the passive house, but for sure you did pass this one. So thank you for your time.
I have your grade for your first correction. I cannot give it away. We're being recorded. No, just kidding. But we're expecting to hear from PHI. But you should not worry about that.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good then. So I think just my last question, just to kind of wrap up this, is how can we connect with you or your organization?
Yeah, so to connect directly to me, there's always my LinkedIn, my email, which is luiz.bezerra@passivehousecanada.com. Our website is www.passivehousecanada.com. And stay tuned. We're always trying to develop and bring new lessons to the industry, to designers, to new students. As my role now as education team leader, I want to make sure that we're actually giving information and knowledge not only to people who are actually beginning their pathway to certification on passive house, but we also want to make sure that the certifiers, the certified people actually get better education as well. And we want to make sure that we bring whatever is new in the market and whatever is new as a standard as well. So that's how you can get in contact to me. I'm always open, so just make sure if you have any questions, you know how to contact me, Carlos. So that's great.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time. And I think this was an awesome conversation, and pretty excited what will come next. And for sure, if at some point we need to kind of just tailor in a specific topic, I will give you a shout.
Definitely, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for what are you doing. And I wish you all the best. And we'll chat soon, buddy. Just send me a message, email, LinkedIn, whatever. You know how to find me. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Carlos.
Okay, no, thank you.
And please don't forget to leave me a review on whichever platform that you're using to listen in this podcast. Either good or bad. Remember, Mexicans have thicker skin. You won't hurt my feelings, that's for sure. And better yet, if it has some good criticism, so I can learn from it and improve it, that will be even greater. I understand this hasn't been perfect, but it can be better every time. I recognize your time is valuable, and would like you to enjoy this moment with me as well. Also, if you like what you get from this audio, I will recommend you to be the first to share this info with your friends, so maybe they can get something valuable from it as well. Thanks for listening, and let's meet again soon.